tonight in an absolute dramatic and astonishing game at the Azteca Stadium in Mexico City, Mexico. And for those of you who are not sports fans, you probably don't want to be watching this particular Substack live for the next few minutes or so, because I'm going to be talking all about the World Cup match between Mexico and England. Thank you for being here, Spells and Carol and Betsy and anyone else who's coming in. I want to say hello to you and very good evening. What an astonishing match. I hope you watched that World Cup game just a few minutes ago that just ended. Mexico 2, England 3. And as you can see, I'm wearing the Three Lions crest of England. And I'm actually wearing the 1966 shirt of one Mr. Bobby Moore, who back in 1966 won the World Cup along with the rest of his England teammates against West Germany. So this shirt I'm wearing is the actual original shirt of Bobby Moore, not his shirt that he actually wore that game all of 60 years ago, but certainly a replica of it with his number 6 on the back. I am delighted with this England team tonight. They showed me a hell of a lot. Carol is also from England, as I am, and Carol writes, I'm from England, so I was holding my breath. Carol, it's great to see you. Also, a fellow Englander like myself. I'm situated here in San Francisco, California. Carol, wherever you are in the world, it's great to see you. Thank you. And I'm so glad that the Three Lions got it done tonight. Three lions on a shirt. Jewels remain still gleaming. 30 years a hurt. Never stop me dreaming. It's coming home. It's coming home. It's coming. Football's coming home. It's so good to see all of you here. Carol, that was for you and any other England fan in the building. And for a long time in this game, I didn't know what to think. You know, I got to say to everyone watching this, and thank you for doing so at this time of night, wherever you might be across the planet. It's now, what, 4:15 in the morning in England? And here in the United Kingdom, in the United States, I should say, here in California, it is 8:15 at night on a Sunday, 4:15 in the morning on a Monday in England. And of course, on the East Coast, I should say, of the United States, it is 11:15, 11:16 at night. I have to say, I was very pessimistic, and there's a lot of people from England would be, about the English national team, the men's football team. We are a really pessimistic, cynical lot with England. Why? Because England has always disappointed us. A lot of times they've disappointed us, the men's team I'm talking about. Whether it's on penalties, we get knocked out, somebody gets sent off, and it happened again tonight. I'll get into that in a minute. But I was very pessimistic before this game. I did not think that England were going to get past Mexico. It had all the recipes of a disaster against a Mexico side that had been basically unbeaten at the Azteca Stadium, where they just played this match tonight. All time in the history of Azteca Stadium in Mexico City, the Mexico national team had only lost twice, ever, all time. And the last time they had lost in a competitive match as the Mexican national team inside that stadium was 2013, 13 years ago. So, as you can imagine, with England also not playing particularly well in these matches, they weren't good against the Democratic Republic of Congo in the last round. Very, very fortunate. Two brilliant goals from Harry Kane, our captain, got us through that mess. And we hadn't played well against Ghana in the group stages, did not play very well against Panama, still won the game. Played a good second half against Croatia, where we won 4-2 in the first group stage match. But outside of that second half of football, didn't play well at all in the rest of these games at all. And tonight was no exception. We started slowly, and the altitude in Mexico City's Azteca Stadium was way, way above sea level. I mean, we're talking about 2 Empire State Buildings worth above sea level. That's how severe it was. So England played rather slowly. They really wanted to conserve their energy. They moved the ball very slowly, and they absolutely slowed the game down as much as they could. But then things really came to life, astonishingly so. Midway, I think at that 28 minutes, 30 minutes, or whatever in that first half, Jude Bellingham gets the goal after a great assist from Anthony Gordon, who was, I thought, fantastic tonight. A number of England players were. That made it 1-0 England, and then less than 2 minutes later, that man Jude Bellingham again scoring to make it a 2-0 lead, doubling the lead and doubling his tally on the night to get a brace to give England a 2-0 lead. Fantastic stuff. Harry Kane was really a factor in the game as well. He really helped that goal happen, made that goal happen as well to a degree. And Jude Bellingham was fantastic in this game. 2-0 England. You thought that England were in the control of the game, but those two goals against the run of play. But then England conceded a really quick goal before halftime, which you really didn't want. And England would unfortunately go into the half conceding a goal at 2-1. Accidentally, a clearance that did not go well from an England point of view from our defender Consa, and the ball found one of the Mexican players, Quinones, who just rifled the ball into the roof of the net. Before all of that madness happened, and we went into halftime up 2-1, Jordan Pickford, our goalkeeper, the England goalkeeper, made a fantastic set of saves and should really, if it wasn't for him, we could have been in real trouble in this game. Because when England weren't doing very much in the first half of the game, it was Jordan Pickford who was doing everything in the England goal to keep Mexico out. Two fantastic saves from Raul Jimenez, the Mexico striker, that kept England afloat in that first half. I thought those are two critical moments in the game for us, and I was just delighted with the performance of Jordan Pickford in the goal. He made some key saves all night long. Very good goalkeeping, very authoritative in his goaltending and his goalkeeping. Fantastic stuff from him. Jude Bellingham, as I said, was absolutely fantastic in the game. Really nominally the man of the match, but he also had some other players, other teammates who really stepped up in this game. Anthony Gordon was terrific as well. Anthony Gordon, marvelous footballer, who's now going to be playing in Barcelona when the season starts again in a month or so. He was brilliant tonight as well. He made a goal for Bellingham, and he defended well. He was brilliant both ends of the ball, as was Jude Bellingham. So Anthony Gordon, take a bow, was really, really good tonight. And also, as I say, Jordan Pickford, as well as Konsa, the defender for England as well. I thought he was really important to the game, made some real good clearances. Also, Jed Spence came in and defended. England went down to 10 men, unfortunately, early in that second half, up 2-1. And so you're thinking, my goodness me, how on earth does our defender get sent off? Well, he got sent off because he had a straight red card. It was studs up challenge. No way back for him, and the referee made the right decision there. And I thought the referee got pretty much everything right in this contest tonight. Joel Quansah goes off down to 10 men, and you're thinking as an England fan, this looks really bad for us. So we got to defend the rest of this game, something like 45 minutes almost, about 40 minutes of football, 35 minutes of football we've got to go without a man, down a man. So we managed to weather the storm. We played the game in increments. The pace was really quick in that second half as it was in the first. We had to slow the game down. We did that. I thought that was a massive factor that we slowed the game down for much of that second half. And the other thing that was key was Harry Kane. Even though I'll get into Harry Kane in a minute, he created a goal, or helped a goal on, I should say. And he also got the penalty kick, and he scored that one critically around the 50 some odd minute mark, whatever it was, 60th minute mark, to give England a 3-1 lead despite being down to 10 men. And you thought at 3-1 England were home and dry, home and hosed. But unfortunately, that was not the case, because just 9 minutes later, in the 69th minute, there was a penalty. Harry Kane. It was a really ticky-tack penalty for me. I did not see there was a penalty anywhere there, but the truth of the matter is that Harry Kane did make contact with the boot of a Mexico player inside the penalty box, did not get the ball. He clipped the defender's boot, the attacker's boot. And listen, by the letter of the law, it's a penalty, even though it was a very soft penalty for me. But by the letter of the law, it is a pen. And so up stepped Raul Jimenez, and he finally got his goal against Pickford from the penalty spot, albeit. And then it was now Mexico 2, England 3. And so it's game on again, and you're thinking, oh, geez, can England get through this? Can they manage through this game? But England made substitutions. They were able to get off many of their key players and put on defenders. So it became a defensively laden team with really one outlet player, maybe two. Jude Bellingham stayed in. They got Harry Kane out the game, brought in Morgan Rogers. And it was really still a defensive heavy game down to 10 men. And England managed to manage stages of that game so well. Mexico had wave after wave of chances. They just did not execute them. I think Mexico got a little bit tired toward the end of that game. And there were 11 extra minutes of time at the end of the game. And I think Mexico, they tried, they huffed, they puffed, but I think they were exhausted because they just tried to batter down the door of England. But England would not let Mexico in. That was astonishingly strong performance by the defense, down a man, managing to hold off the host nation, Mexico, down to 10 men and still winning the game 3-2. That's the second host nation to go out in consecutive days. Remember, Canada went out yesterday, Mexico went out tonight. And for those of you who are USA fans, will it be a trifecta tomorrow against Belgium? You know, they do say that good and bad things happen in threes. And listen, I would like to see USA on a personal note. It'd be nice to see the USA advance. But the way that this has been going, you had Canada get knocked out yesterday, Saturday. You had Mexico now out today. Both of them are host nations. And the third host nation, the US, um, they play tomorrow against Belgium, and we'll see if they go out. So look, we'll see about that. USA Belgium tomorrow in Seattle, but tonight in the Azteca Stadium in Mexico City, an astonishing performance from England. Grit, heart, commitment, teamwork got England through this match. Adversity. It was a shame that Kwanzaa got sent off. I mean, there was no argument. It's a straight red card. Studs are up high. No way is the referee going to overlook that. The referee got the game right, although it was incredible. He didn't see a penalty kick, and then the VAR system told him to go over and look. And that's where the penalty ensued. And the bottom line is that there was no doubt about it. Harry Kane got the penalty kick, drove the ball into the back of the net, 3-1. And as I said, that was the winning goal of the game. Harry Kane's penalty kick after a 2-0 England lead proved to be the winner to make it 3-1. England just could not hold on to a two-goal lead in this game. And I think the reason why it was that they couldn't was the pace of the game was way too fast for England. I thought that also they were marshaling their energy and they had to save their energy, and the adrenaline rush got to them. And this was a place where you had 80 some odd thousand people, mostly Mexico fans. It was a complete home game for Mexico, and Mexico were coming into this game having not conceded a single goal. So imagine when Mexico conceded two goals inside 90 seconds. Imagine how that place was and how the Mexico fans were. So, Mexico hadn't conceded any goals in this World Cup at all until tonight. They conceded three of them. England tonight, down to 10 men. That is a very important game that they won because it now says that this England team are battle tested. They found a different way to win tonight. They didn't play necessarily that great throughout this game, but what they did well is the fundamentals of the game. England defended very well tonight. They were able to bog the game down when they needed to, slow the game down when they had to. They were able to gain some possession when they had to gain it. I think they lost the midfield battle tonight, did England. But, when you're down to 10 men, you're definitely going to lose the midfield battle because you're a man light. So that's going to be very difficult. But I thought that what England did do well was when it really came down to it, they did the fundamentals well, especially defending. And they were able to communicate well on the pitch together. They were able to slow the game down. Those are the things that got England this victory after the 3-2 lead when Raul Jimenez in the 69th minute pulled a goal back, I should say. At that point, England then had to defend the next 40. Think about this. 69 minutes. Raul Jimenez makes it 3-2 to England with a Mexico penalty to make it Mexico 2, England 3. At 69 minutes, England then had to defend the next 42 minutes down a man. Remember, the referee added 11 minutes to the end of the game. 11 minutes. So this game went 111 minutes in total. And for 42 of those minutes, the last 42, England had to defend down one man. So this was an astonishing defensive performance away from home, where again they're literally two Empire State Buildings tall above sea level. It's a fantastic performance from England in that way. Hostile territory, temperatures are really hot. Remember, the game was delayed about an hour because of rainstorms and things. The game was supposed to kick off at 1 a.m. UK time. The game was supposed to kick off literally, which would have been in what, 5 p.m. Pacific time here in the US. But the game was delayed an hour. And it was all, and even when I was so pessimistic about England tonight, you've got to look at the fact that the good omen was the bad weather, was the rain, because that's English weather right there. The rain is English weather. And so that was actually the good omen in the game, that England were able to get that English weather coming in to give us a little bit of hope and a bit of luck and fortune. Not luck, but we made our own luck tonight. And Betsy says, bravo, I would love to go to England. Yeah, England. England is absolutely, this is hot as hell right now, I think, in England. It's really hot, has been hot across Europe in general, and certainly in parts of the United States as well, and other parts of the world as well. But yeah, visiting England this time of year would probably be about right, especially, Betsy, when you're talking about the World Cup. And now England are through to the quarterfinals. Incredible. It's the third consecutive World Cup where England have reached the quarterfinal stage. They did so in 2018. They did so in 2022 against France. And they did so tonight. They'll play Norway this coming Saturday. I forget where that game's going to be played, somewhere in the US. But that was the astonishing last game in Mexico for this tournament. That was the last game played in Mexico. Mexico will not have any more games in the tournament. Canada played. Canada had a last game as well. That was the game on, I think it was Friday or Thursday, where Portugal beat Croatia. So Canada and Mexico are no longer hosting any more games in this World Cup, and both of them happen to be out of the World Cup now over the last two nights. And the only team that's left standing, the USA, of the three host nations, is the only nation that now is going to host the rest of the games all the way to the final. The final will be played at MetLife Stadium in in New Jersey, in East Rutherford. So that's the final on July the 19th. That's a Sunday. That's literally 2 weeks from today, as the World Cup final will be played at New Jersey, at MetLife Stadium. I think really the final should be played really at the Azteca. Azteca Stadium, I think, holds more people. It's got a bigger atmosphere than MetLife. MetLife's atmosphere is a little bit watered down. But the bottom line is, we'll find out in 2 weeks' time which two teams will be competing for the Jules Rimet Trophy, that awesome, awesome World Cup trophy. That is the envy of every nation that enters this World Cup tournament, which has been a fantastic one so far. This game tonight is the other tournament game of the game of the tournament, except for one other. There's two games in this tournament that have been absolutely outstanding, and both of them ended 3-2. The game between Argentina and Cape Verde, the African nation that pushed the World Cup champions all the way on Friday in that thrilling 3-2 win for Argentina. Really, it was Cape Verde that was the star of that show. That game was the game of the tournament, along with tonight's game between Mexico and England, also ending 3-2. Those two games, the game between Argentina and Cape Verde and the game between Mexico and England, those are the two best games of this tournament. No question about it. Those two games had everything: drama, penalties, sending offs, last ditch efforts, just great goalkeeping. I thought the England goalkeeper, Jordan Pickford, was superb tonight. Absolutely unbelievable. So, look, I don't normally do the sports thing on here, but I will be doing, of course, following England's progress now, especially on weekend games. as England defeat Mexico tonight at the Azteca Stadium. A phenomenal game. A 5-goal thriller that saw England down to 10 men twice, have a 2-goal lead. Well, they were down to 10 men after when they scored that third goal to get a 3-1 lead. Harry Kane's penalty proved to be the winner in what was a pulsating contest. England managed to hold on and hold out and advance to the quarterfinals, the round of 8, the final 8 teams. Now, they are one of them: England, Norway, and also, of course, France and Morocco. All 4 of them are in the final 8. We will find out which teams will be joining them over the next couple of days. Certainly, we'll find out tomorrow who 2 of the spots will go to. Remember, the first game of the day tomorrow on Monday is going to be Portugal against Spain. That's going to be an absolute classic game. Blood and guts between those 2 nations, of course. And then, of course, the game of the night is going to be USA against Belgium. Remember, Flo Balogun reinstated controversially by FIFA after Donald Trump made a phone call to Gino Infante, I guess his first name is. I forget what his first name is. Infante, the president of FIFA. FIFA, an organization that's corrupt as anything, gets a call from Donald Trump, and Donald Trump says, "Hey, look, you've got to reinstate this guy because we're not going to win without him," basically. And what did Gino Infante do? He decided to reinstate Balogun. And listen, I think it's a poor decision. Listen, I know I'm an England fan. I think that having to reinstating a player, now you can question whether he should have been sent off or not in the game the other day. But the bottom line is, once that decision's been made, FIFA rarely, if ever, decides to send a player off. Decides to remove a ban or suspend a 1-match ban. That just rarely ever happens. It only has happened once ever in competitive World Cup football, and that was back in 1962. In a competitive match. Now, Cristiano Ronaldo got a red card in the qualifiers before this tournament started, and he was subject to a 3-match ban, or at least a 2-match ban, and FIFA suspended that ban pending a 1-year probation, during which, if Ronaldo, got any other red cards or anything like that, he would have that suspension uplifted, and he would be serving that ban, however long it was, plus the red card offense for the new offense that he got. That applied to Flo Balogun. So he got his red card ban suspended pending any kind of further problem. So if Flo Balogun tomorrow gets a red card, he will serve at least he'd serve a 3-match ban plus the ban from this particular card. So he'd serve a 1-match ban plus the ban for any red card activity in the game tomorrow night. So this is an unusual thing. Of course, here in the United States, the sports press spinning it like, oh, this is great for the US. But what they're not talking about is the political angle of this. And I can understand that. Hardly any USA fan is going to talk about the angle of this politically. Donald Trump and the Wall Street Journal talked about this tonight effusively, talked about how the Trump regime pitched to Gino Infante, and we're getting on him to do this, to do that. It was a clear political move. Obviously, USA fans won't really care too much about it because all they care about is that their best player is back on the pitch for tomorrow's game against Belgium. But the bottom line is, if you listen to commentary in other countries, including in my home country of England, people are not mixing up metaphors at all, and they're talking about how political the decision was, which I agree it was, to reinstate Flo Balogun. It was a purely political thing. Remember, FIFA and their president, Infante, is the same president of FIFA who, back in December, awarded Donald Trump its first ever FIFA Peace Prize. True story. Last December. You can go look it up. Donald Trump was awarded a FIFA Peace Prize by the president of FIFA, Infante, Gino Infante, Nino, I forget his first name. But anyway, yeah, he awarded Trump literally a FIFA Peace Prize. And this has never been created before. It only was created for the sake of Donald Trump. So this is what happened. It was absolutely insane. So this decision with the U.S., listen, it's a big decision because it helps the U.S. men's team tomorrow, but it's purely political. Purely political. Donald Trump leaned on FIFA President Infante to get him to do what he wanted him to do. And FIFA Trump also contacted the head coach of the U.S. men's team, Mauricio Pochettino, and wished him best of luck. And clearly, this is something that it's just a total shite thing to do. I know that there's USA. Listen, I'm an England fan. I'm from England, so I'm obviously very happy that my team got through tonight with a really gritty win against Mexico, really gutsy win. But to have Donald Trump, I'm sorry, if you are a USA fan, how are you honestly feeling about that? Whether you're someone in here who voted for Trump or whether you're someone who in here who can't stand Trump and certainly did not vote for him, you can't be loving that. That you've got someone in the White House who calls in a favor or who calls into the FIFA president and says, you've got to overturn the red card suspension, the red card ban. You've got to overturn it. And then they do that. Can you imagine if the shoe was on the other foot and Belgium had a red card for their best player, who is Kevin De Bruyne, who you'll see tomorrow night for Belgium? And what would happen if Kevin De Bruyne had done that in the game preceding this one tomorrow, and he was red carded, and then all of a sudden, just the day before the match, FIFA decides to suspend the red card for Belgium's best player, Kevin De Bruyne, and said, come on in, Kevin, you can play. You don't have to worry about that red card tomorrow. You're in the game. You know that every USA fan and every USA sports pundit and every USA football commentator will be absolutely livid and will be saying, that's a cheat, that's not fair, that should be an investigation. How in the hell is someone in Belgium's political office calling up FIFA and having them change the rule? That's not right. It's completely political. That's what any USA fan and sports commentator in the US and former USA men's national player would have said. We all know that. So, yes, Vicky, I agree. It's dishonest. Hello there, Vicky. Nice to see you. Always love to see you, Vicky. As ever, always great to see you, Vicky. Thank you very much for being here. Vicky also asks us, how long, Vicky writes, does a suspension or red card last? Well, if it's a straight red card, for the purposes of FIFA, it could be 3 matches. It could literally be 3 matches. In the case of Balogun, the American player who got sent off on, I think it was Thursday night or Wednesday night, actually, out in Santa Clara, not far from here, 40 miles south of here in San Francisco, it would be a 1 match ban. So that red card is 1 match. So Balogun would have missed tomorrow, Monday night's match at Seattle against Belgium for the round of 16. That's what would have happened. But with Donald Trump calling up the FIFA president and saying, hey, look, you know what, you need to overturn this, what FIFA did was suspend the red card. So the suspension means that the red card punishment is suspended. So the 1 match ban is suspended, meaning that Flo Balogun, who is the best player on the USA men's team, national team, can play tomorrow night. Big, big decision. Shot is a shot in the arm, obviously, for the USA. And you can obviously imagine that Belgium are furious about this, absolutely furious. In fact, they put out at least one statement today. The Royal House of Belgium, or whatever they're called, put out a statement today, and they did not mince their words. They were absolutely livid at FIFA for doing this. They were actually in their statement saying, Royal House of Belgium, or whoever they are in Belgium, that they were considering taking further action regarding this. So, it's a really poor thing. I know a lot of people in the US love it, but there are people like Vicky who've got real integrity who don't like the fact that Trump did this. And I actually don't listen. Listen, my team is England, so I'm not, I don't really have a dog in the fight, but I would say it's not fair. It's not right. And again, if this happened the other way around, you're telling me really that none of those US commentators on Fox, those US sports commentators, none of them would have had a problem with that? Of course they would have had a problem with it. If this was a Belgium player like Kevin De Bruyne, who's the best player on that Belgium team, if he had a red card suspended and was allowed to play tomorrow, you would not hear the end of it in the American press. You just would not. Now, Vicky asks, what did the player do to get the red card? Well, that is a very good question because what happened is that violent conduct is something that would get you a red card in football, which everybody calls soccer in this country, but it's football. So violent conduct can consist of striking someone in the face, punching somebody, obviously, stamping on their leg with your studs, usually with force, right? And things of that nature. High tackle, you're sliding in, your studs are up facing the leg or making contact high up on the leg or even low down on the leg of another player, especially if his leg is planted. That is usually a red card. Something where you're standing, you put studs on a player and you studded him in his ankles or his thighs or his calves. The issue, though, is that Balogun did this, but he did not even have his face looking at the player. His back was to the player, and they were jumping up for a ball. And Balogun is not looking at the player. He doesn't know the player's behind him. And he just happens to land his foot crunch on the ankle of the opposing player for the team Bosnia Herzegovina this past Wednesday. And his studs went crash right into the ankle. And the ankle looked like it was slightly bent a little bit. And they looked at that on the replay and said, ooh, we can't have that. And the referee decided, after looking at the VAR, which is the video assistant referee, that VAR system is a system designed to determine whether the referee made a clear and obvious error in his or her initial judgment of a call that they made. And the video assistant referee, which is monitored by three people in a booth somewhere, determined that the referee got it correct. Just they upheld his decision and found that there was no clear and obvious error in the referee awarding a red card. In fact, the referee didn't actually award the red card first. There was some doubt, and then the VAR said that they wanted to look at it. The referee went over and looked at it and then decided, yes, I should be awarding a red card here. So that is what happened. Vicky writes the following: I don't care which team or player. If you get a red card, then you take the penalty or the punishment. Vicky, I like your style about this very much because the letter of the law dictates that Balogun had to be sent off. I'm one of the few people in this country who thinks that they got that right, um, because it's not about intent. If you look at the rules of FIFA, there is no intent rule when it comes to a sending off. It's got to be with force, but it doesn't have to be about intent. And the reason why a lot of people are unhappy with the red card at the time is because the player, Balogun, the best player on the US, he wasn't even looking at the man behind him. He didn't know what was behind him. It was completely accidental. But by the letter of the law, it's violent conduct because his studs go whack right down into the ankle of the player. And so that's ruled as dangerous conduct, dangerous play, serious risk of injury, could have broken his ankle. And the studs are up, which is not good either. His studs go flush right into his ankle. That could be a serious injury. The US was saying, hey, look, Our player shouldn't get carded. It was completely unintentional. He doesn't know who's behind him. He just landed. He wasn't looking, he was landing. He was competing for the ball. He landed, and his foot just happened to plant in, right on the ankle. He wasn't looking at it. He was jumping in the air. It's a normal football motion. He had no malice. The problem with that argument, even though they're correct, the problem with the argument that they're making is that malice and intent do not have to be are not part of the rules. I mean, if you go in there with force, that's all that counts, whether you intended it or not. And he obviously, when you look at the replay of this, you can find this anywhere. His ankle, his studs go bang right into the other player's ankle. So I thought it was a red card. Most people in this country did not. They thought it was very unfair. But again, if it was Belgium, maybe they would have a different view. But the point is that a lot of U.S. fans thought otherwise. So that's the thing, Vicky. You can tell I don't watch football, Vicky writes. So what I think it was accidental, Vicky. But the problem here, Vicky, is that in the FIFA rule book, there is nothing that legislates accidents. There's nothing that differentiates accidents in terms of a red card offense. There can be something called a handball that's accidental, where the ball, you're in the penalty area as a defender, and the ball hits your hand. That's an accidental handball, right? But if you wave your hand in the air to try to block a football shot that comes in, to block the ball from going into the goal, and you as a defender wave your hand and try to get your hand to the ball, that's obviously a handball, a deliberate handball, and you can get sent off. It's a penalty. So that's what that is. It was an accident, but the thing is that in the FIFA rule book, if you've done the offense, you've done the offense. And whether it's an accident or not, FIFA doesn't care about. So that's why he got sent off. But now he's reinstated tomorrow. And can you imagine if the USA beat Belgium tomorrow night? Belgium will absolutely be livid about FIFA's decision. And they're already livid about it. So we'll see how that goes. But tonight, England, these lads, the three Lions, got the job done. 40 years, 40 years after England were knocked out at the quarterfinal stage in that very stadium tonight, Estadio Azteca in Mexico City, by Diego Maradona and Argentina, with the so-called hand of God goal, where Diego Maradona, speaking of handballs, handballed the ball into the back of the England net, and the referee gave the goal and said, goal exists, goal to Argentina, even though clearly you cannot score a goal with your hand. But in those days, there was no video assistant referee 40 years ago. But imagine 40 years ago, 1986, in that very stadium, England got knocked out. Tonight, 40 years later, England knocked out Mexico in that very stadium. There is some kind of symbolism to that, in my view, and so I'm really proud of the England lads tonight. The game was delayed an hour, as I said, due to the rain and the bad weather. But England, that weather was very much English weather, so that was an omen. Again, I was very pessimistic about this game before the game started because I did not think England had much of a chance. Strangely enough, England were favored to win the game, which I'm very shocked at because you consider Mexico, one of the three host nations for the Cup, in their country, in their stadium, Stadio Azteca, sea level, a million miles above sea level, which would not serve England well, hot temperatures, and a Mexico team that hadn't conceded a single goal in the entire tournament. You would have thought they'd be the favorite. I'm shocked, absolutely shocked that England were the favorite in this game. Absolutely shocked. England played poorly in most of these matches. They didn't play great tonight either, as I said earlier, but yet they were the favorite. I'm just happy they won the game. I am just relieved that England got through this game and won the game, and managed to hold on. Valiant defending, really good goalkeeping, and a really good character building test from England. That was really good football tonight, at times from England. Very defensive minded. sacrificed themselves. They played as a team, down to 10 men. Really proud of these lads. So, absolutely brilliant stuff tonight. Really unbelievable stuff. Um, just absolutely unbelievable. Vicky writes, if other players get a red card because of any unintentional play that hurts another player, and then it isn't excused, it's double standard. Exactly. I think that's the problem. I think that's the real problem, Vicky. That Donald Trump did this today or last night, whenever it was, and got FIFA to overturn this is a very bad thing for the game. Now, the short term is that, yes, lots of USA fans won't give a damn. They're just happy that their best player is back for tomorrow's game up in Seattle. But long term, or short term, or any term, it's really bad for the sport. And it once again brings what I think is a very corrupt organization in FIFA into disrepute. I mean, FIFA has got, just go search FIFA, all the corruption associated with FIFA. FIFA is a corrupt ass footballing organization. It just is. And this is just the latest evidence of it. And if the USA, I mean, this is going to be a really rough one for FIFA because if the US win tomorrow night, and listen, I do hope that the US does win. I think it will be exciting for the country. And again, I'm an England fan and from England myself, so I'm obviously rooting for my team. It would be a story, though, for this country if England, I mean, if the US were able to get past Belgium, who are a very good team, but not quite as good as they used to be. But FIFA's in an impossible position now. If the USA win the game tomorrow, people around the world, many people around the world, will not be a fan. They will not like this. And if England, if you can tell where my mind is, obviously, you can absolutely tell where my mind is, as you can see the England flag here, the England scarf behind me. You can tell where my mindset is at the moment. But the bottom line is that if the US loses tomorrow, there's still going to be a real inquiry into why on earth FIFA overturned that red card for Balogun, why they suspended it. They didn't overturn it, they suspended it. And it's a 1 year probation suspension. So literally, Balogun has a whole year. If he commits another red card offense within that whole year, between now and 2027, a year from now, he will serve an automatic 2 match ban, including the 1 match suspension that he was supposed to serve for tomorrow's match. So this was clearly political. And I'm telling you, I was listening to the pre-match commentary on English radio, on Talk Radio, which is in England, a UK radio, sports radio station that you can also find on YouTube. Um, I recorded some of the commentary before the game, and there was an English football analyst who writes for a sports pages in one of the English newspapers, and he was furious. I forget his name now. Absolutely furious at what FIFA did. And I'll have to play that on my podcast, The Politicrat, sometime on Monday or Tuesday of this week. So there are a lot of people around the world, and because we're so sheltered here in the US, a lot of us are not going to really see too much of the negative or the absolute criticism that FIFA got unless we go dig for it or look for it online. Um, but there are a lot of people around the world who were not happy that Donald Trump was able to call FIFA, and FIFA was supposed to say, and that FIFA replied, "How high, sir? How high? How high should we jump?" And they jumped really as high as the, 2 million miles above sea level that this game was played at tonight between Mexico and England. It was a real capitulation. And it makes you wonder if there is some other thing that goes on tomorrow's game. What if there's another situation where I keep saying England. What if there's another situation during the USA Belgium game tomorrow where another US player, American player, gets another red card and it's a bloody good player? What are they going to do? Is Donald Trump going to call on Infantino again, Gianni Infantino again, and ask him to overturn that red card or to suspend it? I mean, how see this is the slippery slope because if the US wins the game tomorrow, but during the game there's been another red card offense from a really good player, what is Donald Trump going to call him again and ask him to overturn that? How is FIFA going to respond if that happened? And so the whole game gets compromised. And listen, quite frankly, and again, this is not going to be the majority view now in this country. And yes, I guess I say this now that my team has gone through to the final eight. What about, I think there should be some kind of investigation into this. I mean, what is there to investigate, though? We all know what the issue is. But I really, really think there should be some kind of investigation about this. Because again, if the shoe was on the other foot and Belgium had their best player sent off in the previous match, and then Belgium's royalty, I think they have a monarchy in Belgium, don't they, or whatever they have, and they called into Gianni Infantino, the FIFA president, and said, "Hang on a minute, we need to get our player back on the pitch for tomorrow's game against the US. Can you suspend that red card for us?" And then they say, yeah, we'll do it. And then the announcement comes that the best player on Belgium, Kevin De Bruyne, is now allowed to play the game. Can you imagine in this country, as I said earlier, there'd be absolute bedlam here. And we'd be calling in this country for an investigation into FIFA and into Belgium. That would be called for. You'd have Trump screaming to the top of his lungs saying, oh, it's rigged, it's corrupt. Oh my God, we need an investigation into Belgium. They've rigged this thing against the US. You can imagine that because all this guy does is tell you how everything's rigged. And he's the one rigging things. No one else is. But mind you, he will tell you all the time that all these other things are rigged. And he would have said the very same if Belgium had a player sent off and then that player was able to be reinstated for the game against the US. We all know that's true. England beat Mexico. They certainly did, Jason. That is what happened. It was it was a tremendous game. Our lads tonight did us proud. I was very pessimistic about this game. I did not have a good feeling about England. We did not play well in any of the previous games outside of a 45 minutes in the second half that we played well in against Croatia way back at the beginning of the tournament in the group stages. We played awful against the Democratic Republic of Congo last week, but we were able to go through. We didn't play well against Panama, able to go through there. But tonight we didn't play very well either. I think what we did well tonight was adjust to the conditions and strategize well and execute when it really mattered. That's what we did well. We didn't have continuity in our football tonight from an England point of view. We didn't, in my estimates, really have enough possession in the game. Our midfield was very poor. I thought tonight we got overrun in the midfield because I think tactically we didn't set up pretty well. One of our players got sent off. I didn't like our shape, the way we played the game. We started the game slowly, which was designed because of the altitude, because it was so high up. It was literally, again, two Empire State buildings above sea level, that football stadium. I mean, it's incredible, the altitude. That just shows you how tough it was. So I'm really relieved that we got through the match, that England got the job done. Again, the Mexico men's national team had only ever lost two games in that stadium tonight. Now they've just lost the third one in all their history. And the Azteca Stadium's been around for many decades. Mexico's only lost there twice before tonight's loss. So they've now lost three times in that stadium in its history. So this was a remarkable feat tonight by England. Down to 10 men, speaking of red cards. Now imagine England saying, oh, we want our player who got sent off tonight reinstated for USA. Let's say the USA get through and we play USA down the line, which is possible, I think, in the draw that we're in. Just imagine that. And then we get a player reinstated. I don't think many people in this country would be very happy about that. So this is why Anything like this really needs to be investigated and stamped out. FIFA rules must be enforced. I agree, Vicky. Vicky, I'm with you 110%, and you're spot on as ever. And again, it's lovely to see you, Vicky. Thank you. FIFA rules must be enforced. I think Vicky is absolutely right. What's the point of having rules if they're not going to be enforced? What's the point of that? Why are we going to have rules on anything if they're not being enforced, if no one's going to enforce them? And that's why it makes FIFA such a suspect organization. It really does. It really does. So I agree, Vicky. The FIFA rules must be enforced. Good. Kudos to England, writes Vicky. Yeah, thank you, Vicky. England got the job done tonight. The final score at the Azteca Stadium, Estadio Azteca, in Mexico City, Mexico. Mexico 2, England 3. That was the final score. Of course, Mexico is one of the three different nations hosting this World Cup this time around in 2026. Canada, Mexico, and the USA all hosting the World Cup this time. And again, as I said earlier, I wonder if, there's good and bad things that happen in threes. On Saturday, Canada got knocked out. Tonight, Mexico gets knocked out. Will the USA get knocked out tomorrow against Belgium? And if Belgium were to do that, all the host nations would be out of this tournament now. And if Belgium were to win the game on Monday night up in Seattle against the USA, I can imagine a lot of people in a lot of countries across the world saying, well, the US got what they deserved. They got their best player back. They had someone in the White House call up the FIFA president, and now, poetic justice, the USA is out. I can hear that. I can hear that kind of thing. I would not be shocked if that kind of sentiment was being echoed out there in that particular instance, should the US lose tomorrow. You will hear a lot of that on social media. You would hear a lot of that in some parts of the press, certainly in a lot of other countries you would, but you're obviously not going to hear it here. So it was just incredible. Mexico threw the kitchen sink at England all night long. When England went down to 10 men after 55 minutes, 54 minutes, that meant that we would have to go what turned out to be another 57 minutes down to 10 men, a man short, because the game was 111 minutes long, because the referee added 11 extra minutes to the end of the game, the injury time minutes, plus 11, which meant that England had to defend a man down with a man less on the pitch than Mexico. Mexico had 11 men, England had 10. And they had to do that for 40 some odd, nearly 50 minutes, more than 50 minutes. So that's a tremendous job by England to do that tonight. Tremendous job. I couldn't breathe in that high altitude, writes Vicky. Yeah, I'd have trouble with it too. It's bad enough you go to Denver, Colorado, and they are 5,260 feet above sea level. 5,260 feet above sea level in Denver. Well, again, in the Estadio Azteca in Mexico City, that's child's play. I mean, again, it's literally two Empire State Buildings tall above sea level in the Azteca in Mexico City. Shows you how difficult it is to breathe in that thin air. And that's why England played very slowly for much of this game. And England got in trouble in the game when Mexico's tempo increased. And so England were playing at Mexico's tempo in this contest tonight. And that's where England started to make mistakes. That's where they gave up the penalty. That's where they had the man sent off and all the rest of it. So bottom line is that England really, I think, just got through by the skin of their necks tonight. If that game had to go on for another 5 minutes, I don't know. I mean, you might have had a 3-3 draw going to extra time. I don't know. But England defended stoutly. They defended well. They executed their fundamentals pretty well. They didn't play that well, but what they did do well is execute their tacticals and their tactics and their fundamentals well. And that's why they'll be going through to the round of 8 now, the quarterfinal stage for the third consecutive World Cup, and they'll be playing Norway That's going to be a very intriguing match. Saturday in Miami. That's where they're playing it, in Miami, this coming Saturday. Home of David Beckham, who owns a Major League Soccer team in Miami. David Beckham, I'm sure, will be at that game. He used to play, of course, for England's men's national team back in the day. By the way, one other thing. I'm a big England fan, of course, being from England, but can we have a million more David Beckham ads? I mean, every ad, if you've been watching the World Cup here in the United States, every other ad is David Beckham. And for different products. He has all these sponsorship deals. I'm not hating on David Beckham, or as they say in England, Sir David Beckham, who was actually knighted not too long ago. But can we reduce the number of commercials that David Beckham appears in? Oh my God, he's in Home Depot commercials, Bank of America commercials, Lay's chips commercials. I mean, I can go on and on. It's the David Beckham hour. Every ad, every time I look around, David Beckham. Every time I look around, David Beckham, David Beckham. And the thing is, he was a good player in his day, but he wasn't that good for England. And he got sent off in one of the World Cup games. And a lot of English fans were giving him death threats, for God's sakes, years ago. But David Beckham has now become a pitchman, and he's known less for his football and his footballing skill than he is for the amount of ads he appears in. I mean, he's basically now a complete fashion plate of ads. I mean, every other ad, David Beckham. Go online, David Beckham, And to me, again, not hating on him, he was not the greatest footballer in the world. I know they made a movie about him, but goodness gracious. Anyway, that's my minor pet peeve about that. Hello, Z Girl. Nice to see you. Yeah, England playing Norway next, Jason. I know I'm getting to your comments a little bit late, but England take on Norway this coming Saturday. I believe it's going to be 5 p.m. Eastern time for the game next this coming Saturday in Miami. All the games now that take place are going to be held inside the US of A, as all the games that were in Canada, no more hosting for Canada. They're not hosting any more games in their country, and Mexico are not hosting any more games in theirs. And now the Mexico men's national team are out as well on top of that. So now the four teams so far that have gone through to the quarterfinals: England, Norway, and then France and Morocco. Those are the four. We will find out over the next 2 days, Monday and Tuesday, which four teams will join the four teams I've already mentioned. There'll be two games tomorrow, Monday, but one of them between Portugal and Spain. That's going to be one hell of a game. And then the other, of course, the nightcap, USA against Belgium up in Seattle, Washington State, where they play there. Ziegel, again, nice to see you. Yeah, the rule sets a bad precedent. It's really poor. And this is not good. I tell you, Joe Biden was in the White House, or Vice President Kamala Harris was in the White House, or Barack Obama was president and in the White House. There's no way they would have called up FIFA. No freaking way. And said to Gianni Infantino, hey, Gianni, you've got to put our man back on the pitch. Never going to happen. And they would be accused, if they had done that, they would be accused of trying to fix a match. Someone would have accused them in that, right? Somebody, some fan, some pundit would have blasted the Obamas, or blasted Biden, or blasted Harris, if they had done this very same thing Donald Trump has done. But again, people in this country have become so inured to Donald Trump's corruption and criminality. It's like, oh, ho hum, another day in criminal world, and everybody just moves on. Pass the Grey Poupon, please. And everybody just moves on, which I think is a really horrible thing. Um, it's just crazy. Really, the US did cheat. Vicky, I agree. And again, a lot of people in the United States are not going to agree with that. They're going to say, well, no, it was justified because the suspension of the red card was justified because it wasn't a red card to begin with. Well, I disagree. I'm one of those few people in this country who do not see this. I mean, most people are saying, "Oh, it was not a red card." It was a red card. Intent does not factor in the FIFA rules. It's never about intent. It's about looking at the letter of the law of the rules. And he stamped on his ankle with his studs up, his studs showing. And that's dangerous play, even if he's not looking, even if he doesn't know who's behind him. It's still a foul, and it's definitely a red card, given the way his studs are. If you look at the replay, crunching right into his ankle. I mean, it's a serious play. Could have broken his ankle. And so it's not about intent, it's about the action. And people and the referee, excuse me, and the video assistant referee have discretion to look at that and make a judgment. They have the discretion to do that. They really do. Jason hopes that the USA lose the game tomorrow. Um, that's an honest assessment from Jason. As an England fan, as I said earlier, I would like to see the US go through. But I definitely think that if the US does go through, Jason, and everybody else watching this, they're tainted. And it's not the football team's fault, the men's national team's fault. It's the fault of Donald Trump and Gianni Infantino, the FIFA president. And by the way, Infantino and Trump have been friends for decades. So there you go. That's another thing. And, corruption here, corruption there, corruption bleeding everywhere. There's corruption all over the place with this character in the White House. I mean, you just saw the stories the other day of Donald Trump making billions of dollars off crypto and people who are investing in his son's crypto company losing billions of dollars. Stolen stores all over the place. Now he's calling up Gianni Infantino, his buddy, asking him to do him a favor after he already gave you a fake ass peace prize, a FIFA peace prize, specially made for him. I mean, now you want another favor? I mean, it's just so rotten. And Vicky agrees, of course, it is political. I don't blame the Belgians for being angry, writes Vicky. I'll read out a couple other things here too, if I can. Um, Trump doesn't care. I agree. Ziegel says, like awarding him that cup. LOL, writes Ziegel. Yeah, Ziegel, exactly. This is the problem. You've already had an incident where the FIFA president, Gianni Infantino, awarded Donald Trump this ridiculous peace prize back in December of 2025. I mean, it was right there for everyone to see. It was live around the world. And he literally presented Donald Trump with a peace prize because they were trying to get Trump the Nobel Peace Prize. And so FIFA wanted to weigh in with, oh, but here's our peace prize. I mean, it's stupid. FIFA's never given out a peace prize before until this guy in the White House got one. It's completely manufactured. Just ridiculous. And Vicky writes they're not gonna investigate Trump. And I agree they won't. I mean, I'm calling for an investigation, but FIFA's not gonna investigate Trump, and these footballing bodies are not gonna do that. FIFA is a corrupt ass organization. I mean, Vicky, that is just factual. You can go look up FIFA. They've had a long history of corruption, and especially interference and corruption in these games. And yeah, FIFA's trying to revive its reputation, but they're not doing a pretty good job of that, are they? They're not doing a very good job of that, Vicky. So I agree with you, Vicky. They're not going to investigate him. They were probably bribed, Vicky writes, unless they were bribed. And they look, I mean, I think we can make inferences, Vicky and everyone else watching, that there was probably something going on behind the scenes that allowed for Infantino to obviously make that call to suspend the ban. I think there clearly was something going on. I don't know for a fact, but you can choose to make some inferences if you wish. You know, do you think they're capitulating? When you say they, Z-Girl, who is it that you're speaking about? I know you wrote this comment a few minutes ago, and I'm only just getting to your comment, so my apologies. But Z-Girl, when you write, do you think they're capitulating? Are you talking about FIFA? If you're talking about FIFA, I do think they're capitulating. And I think the reason why FIFA may be capitulating here is Donald Trump. And Donald Trump may have promised something to FIFA. We don't know. None of us knows. We weren't on that phone call. And the White House definitely is not going to release the transcript of that phone call, I can assure you. So we don't know what was promised. So I would say if you're talking about FIFA, and I guess at this point, Zigo, that you are, and it's great to have you here, Zigo. Hope you're well. Great to see you. Really great to see you. Thank you for being here, Zigo. Thank you, everybody, for being here as we cross midnight now on the East Coast after Mexico 2, England 3. Fantastic game. And I'm so pleased England got through. I know there's a lot of people who are probably watching this who are Mexico fans or wanted Mexico to win, but, they did not get through here. And Mexico, I'm shocked, were not favored, which to me is inexplicable considering they had not conceded a single goal in any of the four previous games in this particular tournament this time around. But tonight they conceded three in the Azteca, where they basically are unbeaten except for two games, and make it three tonight. So that was what happened with tonight's match. Trump is always the poor, pitiful victim, if I can say that correctly. Thank you, Vicky, for that comment. Penelope West, hello to you. Altitude is a huge factor. Yes, it was, Vicky, tonight as the Azteca. I've never been to that stadium. I've been to a number of footballing stadia, but I've not been to that one. But I do know that that altitude there was a hell of a problem. And that's why England tonight played very slowly. They did not want to be exerting unnecessary energy. And that's why the game was relatively slow and pedestrian for the first 20, 25 minutes before England sprung to life. They conserved their energy. They conserved it. They played slowly. They picked their spots. And the strategy worked. It really did. And I think Mexico tired at the end. They threw everything at England, who were down to 10 men. And I think the Mexico strategy, they were gassed. They were, excuse me for using that word, but gassed as in tired, but I'll use a different word. They were absolutely exhausted or knackered, as we say in England. And Mexico had a million chances in that second half as they kept knocking on the England door, and England would not show any English hospitality and they would not open it. So there you go. I'm so relieved tonight that England won because, as I said at the beginning of this broadcast, this Substack cast, if you will, that I thought England were in real trouble tonight going into this game. I really did. And I'm normally very confident, generally speaking, but I did not have a good feeling tonight about England. Did not have a good feeling. And I was saying so on social media and on various social media. And I was pleasantly surprised. And I'm so glad I'm wrong. So that was a thrilling thing tonight. God knows what's going to happen this Saturday. England, if they win on Saturday against Norway, they'll be in the semi-finals. England would. I mean, this is a huge opportunity. Norway have gone very well so far. They beat Brazil today, did Norway. Erling Haaland, who scored both goals in the win over Brazil today, plays in England for Manchester City, and now he's going to be up against a lot of players that he knows very, very well. That's going to be such an intriguing match on Saturday, but against Norway. So England, best of luck. Keep going, lads. The Three Lions continue on. Brilliant performance in many respects. Konsa was great in defense. The goalkeeper Jordan Pickford was terrific. Jude Bellingham was excellent, basically the best on the pitch. Anthony Gordon was excellent tonight, and Jed Spence was terrific at left back. Just a number of players tonight that really put a shift in tonight and got us over the line down to 10 men. And Harry Kane scored that critical penalty kick that made it 3-1. So that's really the winning goal there. And that stood up until, of course, 9 minutes later. But that goal, that third goal, was the killer, was the crucial goal for England tonight. So I'm very pleased. Let's see here. Rules are rules, writes Vicky. Vicky, you're right. I agree with you, Omar. Yes, I agree with you. Yeah, I mean, Trump absolutely would have a fit if Belgium wins. See, this is the thing, Vicky. I agree with you 100%, Vicky. Thank you. I agree totally with you, Vicky. Trump would go nuts if Belgium wins tomorrow against the US. Trump will go nuts and he'll go on Truth Social and he'll talk about FIFA being corrupt. And literally, this guy, in my view, performed a corrupt act by calling on Gianni Infantino, the FIFA president, to suspend the red card ban. And Donald Trump, knowing him, tomorrow, if the USA lose the game, he will be on Truth Social in a flash, calling FIFA corrupt, calling it rigged, saying that FIFA favored Belgium, favoring Europe over the USA, and Belgium doesn't do this, and Belgium doesn't do. You can see it now. Literally, if this happens tomorrow night, if we're talking this time tomorrow night about the USA being out, bet your bottom dollar that Donald J. Trump will be on Truth Social mouthing off about so-called corrupt organizations. Never mind his own organization's corrupt as fuck, and his regime is corrupt as ass. You can bet your bottom dollar that the first thing he'll talk about if the USA were to lose the game tomorrow is about how corrupt FIFA is. You know that would come. So, Vicky, I agree with you 110%. Um, I know these are comments that were from a little while ago, so I apologize. Beckham is making a fortune, writes Vicky. Indeed, he is. I wonder if he's ever been in a Home Depot, writes Vicky. More for his and his Spice Girls wife. Yep, that's very true. Victoria Beckham, formerly of the Spice Girls. I actually forgot that she was in the Spice Girls. She has her own line of businesses now, including a clothing business. But yeah, I mean, yeah, more money for them. I'm not against people making money, but I'm just fed up of seeing David. And I'm an England fan. I'm from England. I mean, I'm fed up of seeing David Beckham on every other ad. And it's just overkill. So, this is all these matches now are going to be in the USA from here on in, all of them. Whether it is in Miami, whether it's in New Jersey at MetLife Stadium, which is the finals going to be there, along with other games before that, whether it is Boston or Philadelphia or, you know, basically those venues are going to be the ones. Now that the teams are pared down to now we're going to getting into the final eight. We've got the round of 16 still to go tomorrow, as I said, with the two matches, Portugal against Spain, and of course, US, excuse me, against Belgium. And then you've got two more matches on Tuesday that will give us ultimately what the complete eight will be. So all of those things are coming up over the next day or two. And bottom line is that it's just crazy stuff, folks. Um, again, the propaganda. You don't hear anything in the media realm on television about people in the US who are objecting to the suspension of that red card. All you're seeing in your algorithms is or are people who are championing the suspension of the red card, saying this is great for America. We now have our best player back. But again, it's a very selfish response because, again, if Belgium had their best player sent off and then reinstated after the red card they had was now suspended, everybody of a US persuasion who cares about the men's national team of the US would be shouting blue murder and would be declaring FIFA corrupt. But because now they have their player back, oh no, thank you. This is great. And so that's really a missed opportunity for all of us to examine the question of corruption in sports. And we know that there's a lot of politics and corruption in sports. We've seen this in all realms of sport. NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball. This is going on. This has been going on for so long. I really appreciate you, Vicky, and thank you for your principle on this stuff. It's true. Rules are rules. Red cards are red cards. Now, are there mistakes that referees make in issuing red cards? Absolutely. But if you look at the letter of the FIFA law on red cards and on violent conduct, even if it's accidental, depending on the context and depending on the video, obviously, of what happened, that's still subject to be a red card sending off. And that's something that really is not to be appealed in FIFA. So, these are the things that are going on. Taking responsibility, admitting your mistakes, and your punishment is absolutely a good thing, Vicky. Thank you for that comment. If I was that player, I'd refuse to play, writes Jason. Yeah, I guarantee you, Flo Balogun, who was crestfallen when he got sent off last Wednesday, does not share your sentiment, I'm sure, Jason. But I hear what you're saying. Um, it's the rare person who has that kind of integrity to say, you know what, I'm not going to play. I'm going to, as you can hear some fireworks perhaps in the background here, on July 5th, no less, here in San Francisco. You can probably hear those in the background. Um, no player is going to have the integrity and the character to admit, well, you know what? I deserve the red card. I'm not going to play. But I know what you're saying, Jason. But it just does not make us look good at all. It doesn't. It doesn't make this country look good when you have someone calling in favors or calling into bribe potentially, allegedly, potentially, a FIFA president with an organization like FIFA that is known to be corrupt. I mean, it's known to be corrupt. I mean, it's not even a question. And FIFA was trying to revive its reputation, but they're not doing a blooming good job of that, are they? They've done a bang up job in trying to do that. That's failed. So, that's a problem. Jason writes, oh, by the way, Omar, I'm including you in my latest article. Thank you, Jason. Whatever your article is, thank you for including me in it. Hopefully it's not anything bad. I hope it's all good. But thanks, Jason, for that. Um, yeah, just give Trump a shiny gold object and he's happy. Yeah, that really is him. He's extremely transactional, very greedy, and obviously has committed crimes. He's been prosecuted for that in New York City, and obviously somebody who has an appetite to keep doing what he's doing. So, that's where we are right now. It is now 12:30 in the morning on Monday. I'm going to have to say goodbye here in a few moments. Thank you, Vicky, for that. Very kind as well. Always good to see you. Um, and as I've said on a number of occasions, it's great to see you here. It's your year, Omar, between the Knicks and now England. It is good. Thank you, Vicky. I hope so. Vicky, this would be tremendous. What you're saying is, I'm so glad you pointed this out, Vicky. And again, thank you for being you. Thank you for being here. Thank you all for being here. But Vicky points out something that I really like. And Vicky, thank you for saying this. The Knicks, my beloved Knicks, who I've supported for decades now, won an NBA championship, as you all know by now, last month. And possibly this month, we could have my beloved England, who have not won a World Cup for 60 years, possibly win one this year for the first time since 1966. Wouldn't that be incredible, Vicky, if the Knicks, who won their first NBA championship in 53 years last month, were then followed the following month, in this month of July, by my beloved England, winning their first World Cup championship in 60 years? Could happen. It could well happen. Brazil are out, Germany are out, the Netherlands were knocked out, Mexico are now out. You know, England, if England can get past Norway, that puts England in the semi-finals, the final four. It's not beyond the realm of possibility. And France, obviously, are a heavy favorite. Argentina, who are the current World Cup champions, who beat France in 2022 to win that World Cup last time, they're still in it, you know. And Belgium is still in it. The US are still in it. So you never know. Vicky, you could be right. I hope you're right, Vicky. Thank you for your optimism. Good night to you, Vicky. Great to see you again. It's always lovely to have you here, Vicky. Thank you very much indeed. Um, so, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. This whole thing with FIFA, keep your eye on it. Even if you're not a World Cup fan, even if you're not a football fan, and I mean football as in soccer, because everybody calls it soccer here, but it's really football. The world calls it football, pretty much the world, almost the whole world does. But keep your eye, even if you're not a sports fan or a football fan or a World Cup fan, keep your eye on this FIFA story the next couple of days or so. And because I think that's really problematic, to say the least. But again, it's in keeping with a very corrupt organization like FIFA to begin with. So, anyway, that's all my 2 cents on that. I am still awake and here. Thank you, Vicky, for your endurance. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being a loyal and abiding supporter. I really appreciate you for doing that. And everyone else, thank you very much as well for being here. You are the good luck person, right, Vicky? Thank you. Yeah, that would be awesome, wouldn't it be, Carol? If England win this World Cup for the first time in 60 years, then literally coming just weeks after the Knicks, who had not won in 53 years and finally got that done after 53 years just last month, won the NBA championship. Wouldn't that be something? Back to back months of teams who'd gone 50 plus years without winning a title, then winning it. I mean, that'd just be phenomenal. Wow. If England win this World Cup, I don't know what I'm going to. I mean, honestly, the England men, if they pull this out, long way to go yet. You still got to get past Norway. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but that's a phenomenal job. I mean, this game tonight will go a long way toward building character for England. That I will tell you for sure. So very excited. Of course, all of England now probably can't sleep. It's now what 5:30 in the morning there, and people I'm sure said that it called in sick today, and a gazillion people probably did, and they're probably getting hung over now and drinking till the cows come home after this really impressive and very gritty, gutsy 3-2 win in Mexico against the Mexico men's national team, knocking Mexico, one of the three host nations, out of this 2026 World Cup. I am going to look more into the FIFA organization. Thank you, Vicky, for doing that. But Carol, this would really be an awesome thing. It would be incredible if we could have that. If with the Knicks winning in June and then England winning in July. I mean, that's just my God. As a sports fan, I would not. I can't think of anything better than that. As someone who supports, big fan of the Knicks, of course, and a big supporter of England, I can't imagine what would be bigger sports-wise for us. Carol, that's great, fantastic. Well, that is it for now. It's very late on the East Coast. It's early in the morning in England, and it's 9:35 in the evening or the night now, I should say, here in San Francisco, California. My name is Omar. What a pleasure it has been to be with you the last hour plus. I do hope you enjoyed it. Please become a paid subscriber. It would be greatly appreciated. I do a lot of giveaways for paid subscribers only. So I put your name into a random drawing of a hat, and if your name comes out of there, you get to win a prize, be it a book, be it a vinyl record or a CD or any other kind of thing. I'm doing a Knicks giveaway of certain Knicks merchandise coming up in the next few weeks. I've been pausing the giveaways for the summertime for a little bit, but I'll be resuming the giveaways in the next few weeks, and I'll be giving away, among other things, some of the Knicks championship paraphernalia to paid subscribers only. So this is why it's important to become a paid subscriber of my Substack, because I give away prizes, and a number of you as paid subscribers have already seen the benefits of that because you've received prizes from yours truly. So if you want to have a chance to win prizes, apparel, hats, other t-shirts and apparel, plus music, movies I've given away. I've given away books, mostly books. Please, please, please become a paid subscriber. If you can't become a paid subscriber, become a free subscriber. I'm working on a story on the Knicks in New York, which I hope to have out sometime on Monday, the 6th of July. So please stay tuned for that here on Substack. And again, please become a paid subscriber because, again, I do give away a lot of things for paid subscribers. I'll be resuming the giveaways in the next few weeks. So please stay tuned for that. Nick, that makes it the end of this Substack cast tonight. Vicky, good night to you. Always a pleasure to see you. And always lovely to have you here, Vicky, and always terrific to have all of you here as well. And your support is fantastic. So Carol writes, good night, Omar. Hopefully we'll have more to celebrate this weekend. I certainly hope so, Carol. Let's hope that we can, and let's hope that we do. England play Norway this coming Saturday in Miami for the right to get to the semifinals of the World Cup. My goodness me. that's something to really look forward to. And we'll see what happens then, Carol. Thank you very much indeed. Always great to see you as well, Carol, and all of you here for this edition of, well, I guess it's the World Cup wrap with my team England getting through and past no, excuse me, not Norway, not yet anyway, past Mexico by a score of 3 goals to 2. Join me again. I'll do another one of these for England next Saturday night after the game between England and Norway. Win or lose, I will do that. So I am only doing this on the for England, but again, if the World Cup final comes along and whoever's in it, I'll probably end up doing a recap and taking your questions and reading out your comments as well. So do take that into consideration. Not to mention also, next Sunday, I'll be doing my regular Sundays with Omar here on Substack, beginning at 8 a.m. Pacific time, as I usually do that every Sunday. But of course, because of the holiday weekend, I did not do a usual 8 a.m. Pacific time edition of that particular venture here on Substack. It's called Sundays with Omar, 8 a.m. Pacific time, usually every Sunday. I'll be back to that every Sunday beginning next Sunday. And then, of course, I'll be doing the World Cup recap for my team, which is England, of course, where I'm from, and also for the World Cup final on Sunday, July the 19th. Andrew, thank you for joining. Penelope West writes, cool. And Vicky says, night all. And it's good night from me as well. Thank you very much, everyone. My name is Omar. Please, if you like this content, if you like what you saw and heard tonight, please like it. Please hit the hearts. And of course, please become a paid subscriber or a free subscriber. And again, I give away prizes for paid subscribers. So please be sure to do that. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great week. Enjoy it. Take care. Get some sleep and vote. Please do vote and check your voter registration. Once again, the final score from the Azteca, the Estadio Azteca, tonight in Mexico City, Mexico. Mexico 2, excuse me, England 3. The Three Lions roar on to the quarterfinals. They'll be playing Norway this coming Saturday. Take care, everyone, and have a very good night and a good morning and a good week. See you again soon.